Hi, friends. I hope you're well. You know, in this sermon series that we're in the middle of right now from the book of Ruth, I've been using a book called Borders and Belonging and one of the authors of that book is Padre Gotuma, the poet, the Irish poet who came and spoke with us, spent a weekend with us a couple of years ago. And because I'm reading this book and thinking about the book of Ruth, I'm thinking a lot about borders and realizing, because my ears are attuned to it, how much borders are in the news right now. There's conversation about borders everywhere around us. Thinking about our physical national borders and all the conversation now about immigration and the problem of unlimited immigration and immigration that does not proceed according to the ways we have set it up legally. I'm thinking about the borders that we are placing around people who are vaccinated and those who are not, and the ways that borders contribute to our sense of safety, personal safety about the virus, and also just safety around national borders. I'm thinking about the borders that some people in some states are putting around the right to vote, and how some people, I think, genuinely believe that they need to close those borders and enforce them very carefully so that that some people cannot vote and are kept outside of those borders. All those ways that borders affect our national and political life together. And you know, I think that countries, nations, governments, that's part of their job to enforce borders enough so that they can do their work of keeping people safe and taking care of national defense and security and all those things. I'm not sure God sees those borders the way governments do and the way they must in order to do their work. I think what God sees is one world and one possibility of people who come together and who cross borders to be in relationship with one another. And in fact, you know, if you look at the biblical story, you could say this is a story of people always in migration, always moving across borders, God crossing borders, people crossing borders to get to one another and to get to the places where God calls them. And so I think there's a tension there that we live with. And the church, I think, ought to fall clearly on the side of God. Not to say the government is wrong, but to be a counter voice, saying that we can live in a world where some of the things that matter to us do not require borders. Right? I'm grateful for a government that is conscious about those. I want to be part of a voice of people in the world who say, let's open our sense of how we come together, who is invited, who is safe and comfortable inside a much more expansive sense of borders than what we've had before. That's who we are as a church. We not only invite people in, we go out. And as we begin to come together again in this post-pandemic world, to come together into in-person worship and all the other ways we are in connection with one another, I hope our vision of what we are, who we are to each other, is very wide and expansive and open, inviting and welcoming. Not only welcoming to our church, but personally welcoming. I want to be a person who welcomes others into the world that I think of as right and comfortable. And I hope that I will cross borders to get to other people with whom I can be in relationship as well. It's what I hope for all of us. So in these days of coming out of where we have been and into a new world, I hope that crossing borders is part of what we will do together and each of us individually. I'm looking forward to seeing you on Sunday. Take good care.